Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program SuperDawn. I am Vera Osopo with you on this edition this morning.
And it's a great pleasure to be here again on the Wednesday edition of SuperDawn. Blessed Omonose reporting on duty this morning.
Well, this morning we're going to look at something very important this morning. We're looking at the Nigerian, the criminal justice system. We'll go through the act in 2015 and also look at the criminal system in Nigeria. Well, Nigeria is a place where people say that they have their own factors. And those factors to me, excuse me, it's negative. Some of those factors, when you say Nigerian factors, to me is negative. So we want to look at the Nigerian criminal justice system this morning. We'll open the phone lines when that time comes for you to call and contribute in today's edition. Make your contribution and let's see what you feel about our criminal justice system. Of course, we had some interviews that we'll bring to you when that time comes. So I want you to be part of this discussion this morning. Away from that, we're going to look through the papers this morning, and of course we'll open the phone lines for you to react, but you have to be careful with your choice of words. I've always said we should watch it, but that doesn't mean you won't say it as it is, but be constructive in your analysis. Okay, we'll go on this break. When we come back, we will continue with SuperDawn. Stay with us.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed. Now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's newspaper review segment, and we want to start with a punch this morning. And it says here, APC holds fresh Ekiti primaries Friday. And this says Tinubu Akonde Oshoba meets aspirants. This also says Fayoshe's deputy win PDP governorship primaries. You need to look at that this morning in the papers. We also have here that maybe we should take that particular story. I'm looking at now, finally, APC has said that they are going to hold a fresh primaries.
I think it's a welcome development. You know, some days back when we talked about this in our tabloid review, we said if some aggrieved members of the party are not okay with what happened during the last party primaries, it will be a welcome development. It is rescheduled or rescheduled another fresh primary so that the authentic winner and the authentic flag bearer for the governorship elections will emerge. It's a welcome development if you ask me.
Okay, let me read this one. The All Progressive Congress has cancelled last Saturday's Ekiti governorship primary election and ordered that a fresh one should be held on Friday. This was the outcome of a marathon meeting of the National Working Committee of the party, which was held last Monday and ended on Tuesday. The National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, announced the party's decision at a press briefing at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja on Tuesday. Yes, the last one wasn't it at all. Yeah. Where in Ekiti State, you have loads of people wanting to become the governor of that state. Yeah. We have about 30, over 27 over 30. Some reports says they are 32, but someone stepped down, you know, says, okay, it's okay. let me just step down for whoever fails because we're just too many.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the outcome. It was a dirty one in Ekiti State, and I know that these people are very, educated.
Yeah.
They are good elites. They are people that you assume that wouldn't even happen. Excuse me. And so, looking at it, was really messy.
Yeah, it was.
So the party decided to hold a meeting yesterday, the working committee, and they came up to saying that, okay, we're going to have a fresh one
yeah,
on Friday. And I hope that fresh one
turns out positive as well.
Because if it's the same, I don't know when it will stop. I pray that
and it will be a big blow on their opponents, which is the People's Democratic Party, and they are going to lambast them that if they cannot conduct a peaceful primary elections, what do you expect at the state, the final governorship election in the state?
Okay, we also have this one from Makurdi. It said suspected kidnappers with weapons recovered from them at the Benue Police Command in Makurdi. Suspected. There's a picture starring in Punch this morning where you see guns and bullets and the rest there. Looking at the picture and looking at them this morning, I just wonder, why do you go into such terrible acts? They are not even looking as though they are making anything out of this kind of wicked act. They look terrible. Criminals will always look this way. And the Punch has a picture story on that. We also have this one. EFCC gives fresh order to seize patient Jonathan's $8.4 million and also $7.3 billion. EFCC gets fresh order to seize patient Jonathan's supposed money.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we also have this one. NYSCDG. Coppers won't be posted to trouble spots. This is one of the best news.
I think I love that news. It's like I keep saying, it's always a welcome development to get something like that. The lives of these people need to be protected. For the fact that they are serving their fatherland does not mean that they have to endanger their lives. So for me, it's a welcome development, and turns up to the DG of the Nigerian Youth Service Corps. Okay,
I had someone in Benue State in the camp, and she's coming back today. Okay. The camp ends today, and since she was moved there, I began to look at the whole scenario. Why must you be there?
And everybody are worried.
Why we're worried, and I think this is a good one. We also have here UN condemns Kaduna's killings, demands justice for victims. This is part of what we're going to be discussing today in the program, looking at our justice system, looking at the Criminal Justice Act and the system itself. And because if you look at this act, it's talking about the offenders and talking about the people doing the wrong things and where they should have been. And looking at the judiciary system as well. And this is important. The UN is condemning the Kaduna killing. It's just, I don't want us to go into that killings right now. Maybe we'll get into the program proper. We will go into the killings. We also have this project. And this says the bank officially to meet Osibanjo and Adeosun and some governors. We have this. Killing, Senate reinvites IG, summons NSA and service chiefs. Now they are reinviting him, and we pray that he turn up this time around. I thought they've given up hope.
The Senate won't. The Senate President, Bukola Saraki, and the Speaker of the House of Reps paid a visit to the President some days back, and one of the key things they discussed with the President is to make it mandatory for the IGP to appear before the Senate. And if the President has given his assent to that, I see no reason why the IGP will have to disobey that. Okay,
but you know, all of the discussion is about the killings in the country. So I think it's important he turn up and just explain what he's doing right now, what they think are the challenges.
So that Nigerians don't lose hope and faith on our policemen, which we believe they are up to the task to tackle the insecurity challenges we're having in the country.
Okay, we also have this one. Buhari leaves for UK. PDP says he's unfit to rule. Remember, the president said he's just going for his treatment, but PDP here is saying he's not fit to rule.
That's their opinion there, and
That's their really opinion.
Who decides 2019 will tell. I'm moving over to Daily Trust this paper this morning. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, Minister wants 1-year reschooling for graduates. I really don't know why that is coming up, but I have to read the story. Tens of thousands of Nigerian students may spend extra year in specialized institutions after graduation to make them employable. The Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Nwanka, put forward the proposal at the ongoing retreat for governing councils of Nigeria Federal Universities, organized by the National University Commission NUC, with the theme, Elements of Statutory Governance, Procurement and Financial Accounting in Nigerian Universities. He said the suggestion was being made because many university graduates were not good enough to be employed by industries. Now, with what I've read so far, the Minister for State for Education has come up with this idea that our Nigerian students needs to go through another process of 1-year reschooling after spending 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, depending on the courses you're studying in school.
Is it the university? Is it the tertiary institution?
Yeah, but he is saying they have to go to specialized institutions so that they can prepare them.
After the university?
Yeah, after the university, they have to go for another 1 year. And it's a specialized institution so that they can be trained, groomed, and they will be employable. And I'm wondering here, should that be what we should be thinking of now?
Okay, maybe.
I'm wondering if that is what we should be thinking of now at this point of our educational system.
Maybe they are doing that because they are talking about skills acquisitions. Maybe they're looking at vocational training. But I think that can be done through our secondary school. You know, you can begin to groom people, and also parents have a role to play during long vacation.
Yeah.
Instead of you just taking your kids from one auntie's place to the other or to one fun park, you can actually put them to learn. They can learn mechanics. They can learn how to make beads. Children are learning that in school. They can learn tailoring, which is fashion designer. In that one, they have different acts. They have different acts of the fashion sector section where they can learn tie and dye. They can learn other things, and instead of going through school, and some of these times, if you look at government-owned universities, sometimes strikes will affect the students, and so they have something they're supposed to go for 4 years. The students are using 6 years, and you are giving them extra one.
That if you're going to be giving them 1 year to reschool, then this NYSC compulsory practice will have to be scrapped, so that you don't expect these people to go through the rigorous 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, as the case may be, depending on the courses they are studying in school.
Are they going to be paying them for that extra year? Because some of our parents are not well-to-do. The 4 years in school, they work so hard. Some of them had to fry cassava, you know, dry cassava. Some of them have to do gari, locally put. Some of them, they are vulcanizers that they are taking their children to school, no money. So if you put extra cost and burden on parents, they might just say, okay, don't need to educate any child.
The best way we need to go in our educational system in this time and age is to see how we can inculcate entrepreneurship and vocational studies, like you said, even in the system while they are still in school. So by the time they're out, they don't need to rely on white-collar jobs. They are well-equipped. They're empowered. We should be thinking of entrepreneurship and not just start thinking of how we can make our youth employable. Well, if...
Reliance, you know, self-reliance.
Self-reliance.
Because it's very important. It's not everybody that must work.
Certainly,
you know,
yeah.
If we have known all of these things before now, I don't think I would be here.
Of course, you've said that countless numbers of times. Yeah.
Business. But so you can also do business and do other things and do jobs like this. So I think
I just hope.
Maybe it's free. Maybe it's free, and we'll be paying a stipend to those people learning this trade.
Page 5 of Daily Trust app, the story. You get yourself a copy of that, and you get the full details of that story. And still moving on the Daily Trust this morning, Senate summoned security chiefs over arms proliferation. You can get that on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, Lagos approves trial of Danish over wife, daughter's killing. Page 33 of the Daily Trust newspaper have the story. And finally, still on the Daily Trust newspaper, no guarantee Buhari will return Saturday. Let me quickly just take that story to really know what that story is really talking about. I have that on page 3. The presidency said it cannot guarantee that President Muhammadu Buhari will return from his current 4-day medical trip to London on Saturday as scheduled. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, declared this yesterday during a telephone interview on Channels Television breakfast program Sunrise Daily. Asked if it is guaranteed that the President Buhari's stay in London will not exceed 4 days. Mr. Adesina said, when you talk of guarantee, man cannot guarantee, nobody can. Okay, what he's actually talking about here is saying that the president has taken a leave for 4 days to go for a medical checkup, and he's saying that they cannot guarantee. That's the presidency now saying they cannot guarantee if the president is going to return.
When you talk about health, when you talk about health, he's going to check his nose, his ears, and some of the parts, checking his body. You know, when you talk about health, you might not be able to put a fixed date, really. You might get there and the doctor says, okay, you're good to go. You just leave. And you might get there and the doctor says, we need to do some examinations. And so there's no guarantee that one's health will put you in a particular date he can come. But this is a country we must rely on. Maybe the vice president can take charge. So.
Of course, he's able to. So no guarantee for Buhari to return on Saturday. You can find that on page 3 of the Daily Trust. And still on the Daily Trust, reps demand audited accounts of refineries, list of contractors. Page 17 of the Daily Trust have the story. And finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, APC holds fresh Ekiti governorship primary Friday. It's on the Punch we took this morning and still on Daily Trust this morning as well.
We have in the Nation newspaper, that's The Nation, we're going to take right away. And it says, Ajumobi Shitu in War of Words. I don't like reading this kind of war of words. We have loads of things happening in Nigeria. So there, if you want to know more story about the war of words, you need to read up The Nation this morning. We also have Olushola wins Ekiti PDP ticket. Lagos Ibadan's PD rail ready in December. We have this other one, Eagles trainer drills. Francis again. We will go on this break, and when we come back, we take more story in the Nation newspaper this morning. Don't go away.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. We'll still continue with the newspaper review. And before the break, we started with, we were on with a Nation newspaper, and we're going to continue with the Nation newspaper now. It says, Ekiti APC, party elders propose direct primaries, and the writer says, Tinubu Akonde, others intervene. NWC orders new poll Friday. Leaders of the All Progressive Congress in the Southwest yesterday intervened in the controversial shadow election to pick the party's candidate for July 14, Ekiti State governorship election. Last Saturday election was disrupted after reviewing the report of the Electoral Committee held by Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Al-Makura. The party leadership yesterday cancelled the exercise, and that was the one on for Saturday last week, and fixed Friday for a fresh primaries. However, a meeting of the Southwest leaders of the party with the aspirants in Abuja is likely to propose direct primaries to pick the candidate. The meeting, it was learned, was at the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari, who was said to have been embarrassed by all of this interruption of the shadow poll. Of course, the president will be disappointed.
Of course he will.
That's his party.
Yes.
He expected more decorum in that party than what happened on Saturday. But this is Friday coming up. Few days to the next one.
Elections, yeah.
I hope that they must have gotten lots of lessons from what happened the last week.
And put their house in order to
do
ensure
a cleaner one.
Yeah.
CBN, election spending threatening Naira stability. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has warned that the economic faces inflation and financial stability risks over the short to medium term if expected huge election spending is not checked. So CBN is saying we should check our election spending.
Yeah, we will spend so much money on elections, and if you know the amount, I think some days back that were reported to have been spent on elections alone in Nigeria, will go a long way to bother you that if those amounts are being invested in our economy, they would have made a profit, maximum returns as well. Man
commits suicide in Akwa Ibom. 46-year-old man Enekan Peter Sunday has committed suicide in his uncompleted building. The incident occurred on Monday at Utomo in Eka local government area of the state. Nobody could say the last night why the man committed suicide, but some people said, other people said that he had the father's 3 days to the father's burial, no monies, and he just had to take his life. I don't think that is enough. It's no money to bury your father. Bury it in a low key. Go there, put him, carry a pastor, and pray, and that's all.
You know, you get a result at this when we just keep looking at people's opinion. We keep focusing on what the society will say, the expectation from the society and all that. And if we keep living our lives based on what other people will say or what other people's opinion, we'll just end up hurting ourselves like this man's case. It's really pathetic, and it's not really advisable, if you ask me.
The economy, again. It's all we're talking about. Looking at, but must you want to please people and kill yourself?
You don't have to.
I don't think that is right. I won't quit APC by Utom. Benue State Governor Samuel Utom yesterday reiterated his commitment to the All Progressive Congress APC. He said he will not quit the party, contrary to insinuation in some quarters that he was discussing with other parties. And he's not going to leave his party. Despite the Fulani headers busy killing my people, I will keep talking, I will support them, but I'm not leaving the party.
He has his right to stay, he has his right to leave if he chooses to, but I strongly believe that if his party members are going to be strongly behind him, then let them also speak out about the killing in the state. It shows patriotism on his own part, staying in the party in spite of what is ongoing in the state.
Okay, we have this one. Saraki and Magu meet at EFCC's 24 billion office complex. Senate President Bukola Saraki met face-to-face with Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Acting Chairman Ibrahim Magu in Abuja. It was at the 24 billion newly completed office complex of the Anti-Graft Agency, which Saraki inspected for about 40 minutes. And so, you know, they had issues, not to be or to be. You cannot be, and you are for. And he has also had issues with the Senate trying to clear his name in the EFCC. So all of this issues, they met face to face.
And it's a welcome development, if you ask me. It shows that one way or the other, no matter what we see on television, no matter what we read on the papers, behind closed doors, these guys are still
they have
apart.
no option than to meet. We're talking about a property that belongs to the Nigerian public. It's Nigerian-owned property complex, and so maybe he just went for investigations, doing his job. They're both doing their job, and so there's no bad feelings. You can call that no bad feelings.
It's a welcome development.
Okay, we'll just take this last one, then we will take this last story. And it says here, Amosu is best performing governor, says Monarch. Well, I don't know if you have a different opinion to that, but you can get more stories in the Nation newspaper this morning. Well, this morning we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we want to really look at our laws. We want to look at the criminal justice system, taking a cue of what, you know, enacted in the Criminal Justice Act. We're looking at the system today, looking at the offenders, looking at plea bargain in the Act, and also looking at police warrants. We're looking at bail conditions and the rest. We'll go on this break. When we come back, we will continue with the criminal justice system in Nigeria, looking at Nigeria in focus.
Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which has potent medicinal properties. Garlic is a plant in the allium onion family. It is closely related to onions, shallots, and leeks. It grows in many parts of the world and is a popular ingredient in cooking due to its strong smell and delicious taste. This compound is known as allicin and is also responsible for the distinct garlic smell. Allicin enters the body from the digestive tract and travels all over the body where it exerts its potent biological effect. Garlic is a plant in the onion family, grown for its cooking properties and health effect. Garlic supplementation is known to boost the function of the immune system. Studies shows that a daily garlic supplement reduced the number of colds by 63% compared with placebo. Cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes are the world's biggest killers. High blood pressure or hypertension is one of the most important drivers of these diseases. Human studies have found garlic supplementations to have a significant impact on reducing blood pressure in people with high blood pressure. Effects on longevity are basically impossible to prove in humans, but given the beneficial effect on important risk factors like blood pressures, it makes sense that garlic could help you live longer. The fact that it can fight infectious disease is also an important factor because these are common causes of death, especially in elderly people with dysfunctional immune systems. Garlic has known beneficial effects on common causes of chronic diseases, so it makes perfect sense that it could help you live longer. Garlic was one of the earliest performance-enhancing substances. It was traditionally used in Asian cultures to reduce fatigue and enhance the work capacity of laborers. The last one is not the health benefit, but still important.
Welcome back. We want to look at Nigerian justice system. A lot of people have said that the system is a bit biased the way even our lawyers handle issues in court. But we're looking at this system because law is very important, very useful and law is something that you cannot do without. It helps the society to be healthy, to be safe. So we want to look at this justice system this morning. And we had some interviews that we took relating to some of the cases in Nigeria. If we can take all of those cases, better. But if we cannot take all of those cases, we interviewed some people. We'll take just few and we'll look at the system that is entrusted with responsibilities of offenders and also controlling criminal characters or activities in Nigeria. We have a guest in the studios this morning, but we'll go on this break now. When we come, we will look at the interviews and also you meet with our guests. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Do you think this attitude is right?
What led to that? What led to that? Actions carry consequences. The evil spirit visited in the night and the child died in the morning. Do you need anybody to prove what happened? You can't hide inside a red chamber and be taking laws into your hands. People mention his name in an interview. So criminals were arrested and they mentioned his name. Come and clear your name. You don't want to go. If you don't want to go, then law will come. And the law came.
Controversies around him.
He was not making any sense to anybody. He was just fighting for survival, and he's still fighting for survival. You cannot. You see, that's what we call loyalty. Loyalty. Let me tell you, I don't think we need this Senate. It's no longer useful. If I had my way, I would disband the Senate. It's a mere waste of time and money. We don't need them. We can have the House of Reps. Man, I have few friends there, but I can sacrifice them. That's why I say I don't want the Senate. I'm sacrificing my friends. The mistake was made right from day one. It was not a mistake. Some people betrayed us. And we have been suffering it for almost 4 years now. Clearly from day one, leaders sat down and said, this is what we want. We won this election after 16 years struggle. Not after 16 years, after almost 32 years struggle, by the progressives. We sat down, penciled down the people we want. Under the cover of darkness, we were told that Senator Saraki's slept in the car park, went into the hollow chambers. We were 59 and they were 49. There was no election. Some 59 members of APC, 50-something members were having a meeting somewhere. He got some PDP members and gave them the business. The thing is that feeding bottles have been taken away from some people's mouth. So they can't years, doing more than 600 and something MDAs to be happy. 600 and something MDAs, 20,000 accounts. And I told you the other day, I said, I picked one agency of government, JAM. And I said, from 2010 to 2015, JAM was only able to remit 50 million to the federal government. The money, when you surrender money, is an evidence of guilt. The man has taken their cars, their houses. He go to a big mansion in Abuja and he call for the owner. A situation where the owner is even afraid to come and claim a property because his salary is not up to 80,000 naira a month, but he has put down something for 20 billion.
I would say it was wrong of Dino Melaye to have jumped out of the moving car. And if he was not taken to court within the period he was arrested and taken to court, we can be talking of a violation of his fundamental rights. But having been taken to court within that period, you cannot talk of fundamental right. Because if he was not taken to court and you go to court, to the Federal High Court or State High Court to argue for his right, what you will be telling the court is he should either be released, he should be brought to the court for the purpose of being released, or he should be released, or he should be charged to court. These were the claims he would have made. He has been charged to court. That court has jurisdiction to hear the matter for which he was charged. And I read, subject to confirmation, that the National Hospital confirmed that he was okay. I was surprised that he chose to remain on the stretcher. We said, I read, the hospital confirmed that he was okay. Now, it will be most improper and very wrong and inhuman on the part of the police to have charged somebody that look as sick as the senator created. I personally, I don't want to believe the senator is as seriously sick as he made the public to believe. The police wouldn't have charged him. They would rather take him to the hospital, provide security for him. I'm not speaking for the police, but the Hospital haven't confirmed that he was okay. He was arraigned in court. I don't know. My learned friend, brother and senior, Falana, said it was wrong. I cannot see what is wrong there. As a lawyer too, I don't know whether it was wrong to charge a person. The fact that he's a senator, with respect, does not really matter. The president of the Senate is facing court. Dino was not to be arrested. He was invited, so we had. If he had honored the invitation, he wouldn't have been arrested. He wouldn't have been declared wanted. He refused to honor the invitation, and he started dramatizing the whole episode. You know? So I think it was okay. They can go to court. He has no choice, for God's sake. The choice, he's not the one to make a choice as to where he will be charged. The law is clear. While the Constitution gives power to the court, some states, like in Lagos, the fact that you are supposed to be tried in Oyigbo and you are being tried in Badagry is wrong. The law recognizes it. But the law now went on to say it will not invalidate the decision of the court. I don't know what the state law is over there, but it is not bad for the magistrate to have said he be detained at the police. The magistrate or the judge can say he should be detained anywhere, either at the prison or at the police. Most probably, the magistrate considered the fact that this man looks sick. The police are saying he's not sick. Well, to be on the safe side, let me put the risk at the police. So the police will be careful not to allow anything to happen to him in their custody. If you get to the court, you can tell the court there is a threat to your life. Now the court can ask the police, protect this man. Because if there's a threat ordinarily, when you are not in custody, who will you call? It is the same police that you will call that you are feeling threatened. Now the police are giving you protection, and you say you are still feeling threatened. Is it that he's feeling that the police will kill him, or when it's taken to the prison he will die, or when it's in court? Look, if somebody is arrested and detained, the first clamor is release him on bail, on administrative bail, or charge him to court. That has always been the clamor. And this time, I think within 2-3 working days, despite the fact that he was injured or he injured himself and he was at the hospital, yet he was charged to court within 3 days. How can the person that is being charged to court will be the one to determine the court is good? If you allow that, then everybody will choose a court in his backyard. The law is that if you are caught somewhere committing a crime, and the crime is consummated in that place, you should be tried at that place. That was why Ibori was brought back to the Federal High Court at Sabah. You see, what I expect the press to do is to confirm if the hospital actually confirmed that Dino was okay. If you contradict that nothing like that, we can all fire the police. Then I will reverse my position that it was very wrong of the police to have taken the person on stretcher despite the fact that the hospital said he's not fit and capable for this. And if the hospital have said it's okay, then Dino is deliberately dramatizing this whole thing. He wants to be seen by public that he was taken on stretcher to the court. Whereas it's okay. But I don't know his religion.
Are we not supposed to wait for him to react to all of this thing because he has not spoken yet?
He wants to create controversy. He wants to create what is happening now. That's what he wants to create.
To wait until we hear from him.
If I have a position that the hospital have said is okay, I would presume that he's okay. So I want to presume that Dino is okay. I commend the Nigerian police for what they have done in this case. I commend the Nigerian police for what.
Welcome back. We're looking at the criminal justice system, looking at some of people who have said that this system cannot work in a country like that because it's entrusted with the responsibilities of controlling behaviors and offenders. But lots of people have said, hey, who is an offender in a system like this when we have Nigerian factor? Speaking with us this morning, we have Barrister Destiny Tanko. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Yes, it's very good to be here again.
Good morning, Barrister.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're looking at the criminal justice system, and we had that interview looking at, we saw the APC spokesperson, Doug Bokwe, talked about our ways of doing things. He took us through the Dino Milaye's case and also the Senate President case, and also Nigerians saying that some people, they just take monies that are not theirs, build houses, and when you ask for their day-to-day activities, you cannot see that this is not matching with what they do. But they have loads of houses here and there in eyebrow areas, looking at Nigerian system of doing things and the way of doing it. We also saw the barrister there, Tony Daniel, talking about Senator Dino Milaye's case in these issues. Looking at all of these things with our justice system, do you think we are on course?
We are not exactly on course. I say that for the simple reason that for us, it's not the absence of criminal legislation to deal with alleged offenses. It is not that. Why we're not on course is because we are people who do not respect, uphold institutions and the integrity of institutions. That's what the problem is. Now, you want to look at the police, for instance. You want to look at the judicial system and the civil service, public service, short and public office holding. It is not in pen and paper. You have laid down rules, laid down procedures for doing things. But you said something in your opening, as you were going to introduce me, you talked about the Nigerian factor. The Nigerian factor, as far as I'm concerned, is the reason why we're not on course as we should be. The Nigerian factor is what makes a person who is alleged to have committed an offense, when the police go after him, he either has kept money ready to settle the police, or he has a godfather in the hierarchy of the police who would put a call across to the junior officers as they go to arrest him, or after arresting him, and say release him on bail at once, and the matter subsequently dies. Or that money is collected by the arresting officers and they don't pursue the matter to conclusive end. Now, I give you an instance talking about institutions and the way institutions work, and that's where our problem is. The Nigerian factor defeats institutions in our country in all ramifications.
And that factor is a negative factor.
Very, anyway, that's what I say. It defeats.
When we say Nigerian factor,
if it defeats, it means it's negative.
Yes.
Yeah, it defeats the implementation of policy, of rules, of regulations, of laws. It's responsible for defeating. And that's why I said we're not on course, because I give you an instance, my profession, right? As a legal profession, there's so many things a lawyer cannot do. Because that institution works the way it was set up, there's so much. I cannot take your money as a client with impunity and appropriate it, as I would, and get away with it. There's so many more things I cannot do because that system works. If a complaint were to go up to the NBA Disciplinary Committee and I'm given audience, I would be sanctioned appropriately. So if we have a system that has integrity, the Nigerian factor defeats integrity in our judicial criminal justice system, in our way of life, generally. So that's what the problem is.
Okay, but let's look at this. We saw those interviews. Looking at how the police conducted themselves, it was looking as though they wanted to use the Nigerian justice system, and that was what it was looking like. What if someone is not guilty? The way they handled Senator Dino Milaye's case, was it right?
Exactly the point. That's where I was going. You see, because of that lack of integrity, as I said, on the Nigerian factor, we end up always doing the right thing for the wrong reasons or the wrong thing for the right reasons. Now, it is not saying that the Nigerian police does not have constitutional authority to invite or arrest any person. Neither is it say that a person who is alleged to have committed an offense cannot be put to trial, to answer to any allegations, criminal allegations. But like somebody said, I think it was Joey Boku or something when he was talking, he said the witch cried in the night and the baby died in the morning. You know, you cannot take these things in isolation. All right, that's why I say we always tend to do the right thing for the wrong reasons. Dino's recall from the Senate failed. There'd been a process to recall him. And after that, all of this drama. We know as Nigerians that it's very easy. When you want to go after anybody, Saraki have been facing trial for non-asset declaration. How many other Nigerians? Now, Saraki cannot say that, but I can say it, all right? Saraki cannot say I'm not the only person who has not declared assets. No, the thief is the one who's caught. That's my definition of a thief, all right? And especially the way it is in this country, all right? Every other thief who is at large is not a thief. It is the one who has been caught or brought before the law that is a thief. You know, so how many other politicians, even amongst those who are pushing for his prosecution, actually declared the asset? Did your president declare his assets? Did President Muhammadu Buhari declare his assets, even as his president today? No, so I say we do the wrong thing, the right thing for the wrong reasons. Now, from his record that was going on, and then some people have mentioned his name, you know, that he buys them and he arms them and whatever, and the police are after him.
Which is a very serious case.
Yeah, very serious allegation, of course. You know, but so that's on one hand. I'm saying it is very easy, like giving a dog a bad name to hang it. That's more like what's happening to Dino Melaye. Now, but having said that too, if there's an allegation against me, I naturally will not shy from any allegation. I would go up with the boldness that God has given me to face that allegation, believing in the letters of the law. So that if at the end of the day, the magistrate, the judge, or whoever in the panel has looked at the case and decided wrongly, I go on appeal. Because I want to claim my good name. You know, I know that these things are trumped up, and I would go all the way. So it's possible for us to arrange anything against anybody, and I think that's what is happening to Dino. That's my personal perception, from his recall to his this trauma he's facing and all of that.
So you're saying this system is failing?
The system is failing because we don't allow the letters of the law, the institutions as they are, conceptualized to work, because of a lack of integrity, because of the Nigerian factor.
Now, talking about judiciary system in the country, now, what do you think are the bottlenecks or the loopholes in ensuring that criminal cases like these are being taken care of and speedy judgments are being passed?
Well, so much has been done in that regard. Recently, at the national level, you have the Criminal Procedure Act 2015, and of course that replaced a legislation that existed since 1958, the Criminal Procedure Act. You know, so all of that, and then of course in Lagos especially, which has been at the forefront in legal engineering as far as that is concerned. In fact, if you were to look at even the act I talked about, it's largely a rehash, you know, of what Lagos did and what lots of other states have also copied. You know, so there are a lot of things, but of course, at the end of the day too, we say justice delayed is justice denied. Yeah. Justice also hurried, you know, could be miscarried. So there has to be a balance within when we want a case, an allegation brought before court, heard, and judgment given. You know, especially in the light of the fact that the Constitution says a defendant or an accused person is entitled to time and facility to prepare his defense. You know, so when it arises at any occasion that the defendant has to be given time, you must. If you don't, it will be a good ground for setting aside any decision that is reached, especially if it turns out that there's a miscarriage of justice at the end of the day. And of course, like I said, it's a matter of drawing the line between undue delay by the defense and also undue hurrying up of a case by the prosecution. You know, you have instances where a judge is telling you, I don't know, it's my time. And well, it depends on the counsel at that time. You know, there's a relationship between the bench and the bar to let the judge or the presiding magistrate understand that, well, you are conducting your case for your client, and that this is what you want to do. So long as you know you're not being inordinate, you can stand on that, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of times, just like what he said, they have said that the criminal justice system is a bit slow, and this is affecting a lot of things in Nigeria. Do you agree with them?
Sorry, say that again?
They said the criminal justice system is slow in Nigeria. Why is it slow?
Yeah, invariably, that's what I answered. I said for very many reasons. There could be the things that naturally cause that. I've said the Constitution itself says a defendant is entitled to time and facility. So if he's not disposed for whatever reason, in practice, he could become sick.
Okay, but looking at...
Let me finish that.
Yes,
He could become sick. And if he's sick, you will not... the man is not being convicted. So he will not die before his conviction. You will have to allow him to be well before he... I mean, do you know case 9 in sight? For instance, the judge of majesty could also be indisposed health-wise, and know that the registrar of the court may not come because of one reason or the other, ill health or whatever. The prosecutor, public holidays are declared. We know in this country they come suddenly and go, and there may be some disturbances in the area, and it's not safe for people to move around. So those are natural things that could cause a delay. But as I've said, other than that, what legislation was done, as I mentioned earlier on, at both the state and federal levels, is to ensure that there's no inordinate delay, either by the defense or that that the defendant gets his constitutional time, legally allowed time to prefer his defense.
Okay, looking at this, I know that before the Criminal Justice Administration was enacted, police can come to your house and arrest you without a warrant. Right now, people now know their right and say, this new system allows you to find out, why are you arresting me? Is there a warrant? And the rest. We also have some cases that people believe that the justice system is not really carrying out what they should carry out. What are these hiccups that is making Nigerian feels, hey, we do not believe in our justice system?
Well, maybe just to start from where you did. Well, it's not in all cases that somebody must be arrested with a warrant. It depends on the offense involved, and but of course you're entitled to be told in the language you understand. There's a provision of the Constitution, or what the allegation against you is. So it's not enough, it's not appropriate like we do, just bundle somebody and throw him wherever and then say, yes, you have the right to arrest me, I have my rights under the law as well, to be thought what the allegation against me is, to be told what the allegation against me is. Now, of course, we belong to a climb where we know that in the past, it has been even there in the past that, of course, you cannot get out of the law, the provision of the law. It has been happening, but of course, it is not that the law did not provide, procedure for arresting individuals who are alleged to have committed an offense, or that there was no provision as to what you are entitled to as somebody against whom an allegation is made. Now, the criminal justice system works in a manner in our country such that, I say, apart from all of these hiccups and delays, you have situations where we have mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, wives arrested vicariously. What that means is that you are a wife, and then your husband is alleged you've done something, and then they come and pick you up, or pick your child up, or pick your mother up. Those things have always happened. It's not because the law did not provide that you can't do that. There's no vicarious liability in crime. But can you do that by the law? Can they? That's what I'm saying. They cannot. There's no vicarious liability, in criminal in law. So you cannot arrest somebody, vicariously on behalf of another for an offense allegedly committed by another person. These abuses have always been there, right? And but of course, the criminal justice system has also always provided that. But you see, that's where a lack of integrity and abuse of police powers, or by arresting officers, because it's not only police. You have the EFCC, for instance. People are arrested up to today. EFCC has large powers like the police under the law. And in fact, the police have a lot more powers than the EFCC, actually. Theirs is very restricted. But you have a situation out of impunity where like I say, police will go out of their way to arrest somebody on behalf of another. You have a situation where the EFCs, for instance, would arrest somebody and keep you there for weeks, for months on end, for an allegation for which the law says is bailable. These are all impunities, and that actually affect the mindset of Nigerians, their perception of our criminal justice system.
Now, let me ask you, sir, Barrister, how can we maintain competence, fairness, and transparency in our justice system?
It is by all stakeholders in the criminal justice system abiding by the letters of the law and doing what their part is. For an arresting officer, comply with the provisions of the law on how to arrest a person against whom an allegation is made. You do not handcuff a person who does not need to be restrained, in a bid to either impress the complainant because of whatever motivation you may have received. And do not detain somebody beyond what the law permits. Do not go into allegations that are right on the face of them, they're civil. Invite somebody. It's okay, so that you can find out what this is about. If you discover that this is a civil matter or there's nothing, let him go. But in our case, you have a situation where for every possible allegation, you're taken to the police, for instance, and then bail must be posted. And of course, bail is not free in Nigeria. I said authoritatively. You can see it written in gold or whatever. But of course, bail is never free. Never free, not because the law did not say that. The law says bail is free. But in practice, because of impunity and abuse, bail is not free in our police stations. So for the arresting officers, go to the letters of the law. And then for those who are, like, for instance, the defense counsel, ensure that you don't introduce undue delays in the course of. Once you're sure of your client's matter, prepare properly, for the defense. And for the prosecution as well, especially also, do not tutor and try to introduce evidence that never existed because you must have a conviction against somebody. It is not it's not a duty, it's not an obligation. It's not compulsory that you must have a conviction. And for the judge, in this case, magistrate or judge, look strictly into the letters of law. Forget the prevalence of an allegation or whatever. Deal with the facts before you.
Well, I'm going to hold you on there. There's a caller here. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
God bless you. I love your topic this morning.
Thank you.
My question to the lawyer there is, do we have the same law for the rich and the poor in Nigeria? Do we have the same law? Lawyer, can you help me? Because some years ago, some months ago, two brothers from Kano told us that they have spent 14 years in prison for stealing 4 battery radios, 4 batteries. 14 years. And our rich men are spending billions, are spending months in the prison, and they are gone. But do we have the same law for the rich and the
poor? Thank you so much. You're going to be the last caller. We're not going to get any caller again. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, the question was straightforward. Yes. Do we have the same law for the rich and the poor? Yes. And indeed, of course, it is clear that literally nobody is above the law. That's the position of the law. Nobody is above the law, not even the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, outside of where the law allows for, while he's in office, what you can do and not do to him. But when he leaves office, whatever allegation of crime against him, he would answer to it. And of course, also, to add to that, until you die, you can be tried for an offense you committed when you were 15 years old, until the very day you die. So time doesn't pass, for any allegation of crime against you. If you were able to escape the law all these years, when you committed an offense when you're 15 and you're 80, the law says you can still be arrested and put to trial. So there's no different law. It's the same letters of the law applying to everybody. That's what the law says. But like I said, it depends on the crime and the integrity of the process, the institutions involved. Because you have a situation here in our country where the one who has the money can do a
Maybe
lot of
that's where
things.
it's going.
But it is not that the law permits that, but it's because of impunity and abuse and lack of integrity.
Okay, he has said it is not permissible, and so, well, we must do the right thing. But finally, do we believe in the rule of law in this country? With all of these things happening, do we believe in the rule of law?
Yes, we still
and
believe.
And how can we uphold it? Final one from you.
Yes, we still believe in the rule of law. That is why if you were to suddenly hear somebody banging, this door, the door of this studio now, you will not call, the head of talks in Imushi or Nikpan or anywhere else. You would go to the DPO and say that because you believe in the rule of law, in spite of the inadequacies, of our criminal justice system. So we still believe in the rule of law because it is the only safe way for everybody. As a matter of fact, we all have a responsibility to uphold the rule of law because in it lies the liberty of everybody else. Even the one who oppresses you today will be a victim tomorrow in the hands of another because he has set bad precedents. So we believe in the rule of law and we all have a responsibility to uphold it, meaning that, of course, we should, upgrade our criminal justice system to the extent that people should be, because we know the abuses involved inherent. Somebody who knows, like the whistleblowing thing, is in that regard, it's a good one. Somebody who knows that somebody has committed an offense somewhere can report anonymously, and then that matter can be taken up, proper investigation done, and the person who gave the information, the informant, is protected. But you have a situation where after a person is arrested, the policeman, when he's one who tomorrow, after receiving money from the man who was arrested, point and say, it is Vera at Super Screen that gave us the information against you, and that puts your life at risk. So for that policeman, those who do that, and for other Nigerians, we need to
no matter your position.
As a matter of fact, because at the end, like I said, all of us are liberty to this. It's like the man who eats up the pension money of a public servant because it's there. When you retire, somebody else will eat his own pension money.
I want to thank, we must wrap up now. I want to thank Barrister Destiny Tanko. Thank you so much for coming on this segment. Well, viewers at home, this is where we can take this segment. Time is not on our side. Up next is SuperDawn Sports. Stay with us.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television.